Hey, I'm Kim Allen from Sincerely Sublime Designs, and I am here to show you 3 fun cards using the Trees for Sale stamp set. You can find it in the holiday catalog. It's on page 39 if you want to check that out. Now, the 3 cards I'm going to show you today are part of a class that I'm offering, and so I want you to have the opportunity to make these cards also. So everything I'm going to show you today, you have the opportunity to get. With a $35 order in my online store, or you can email it to me or text it to me or call me, however you want to place an order. If it's $35 before tax and shipping, you will receive the kits to make these 3 cards. You will get 2 of each, so that's 6 in total. So you will be able to make 6 cards and have 6 envelopes to go with it. These kits include all the cut cardstock, but they don't include ribbon or embellishments. So if you see something that you like and you want to be able to use it, just make sure you include that in your order. It can always be substituted with other ribbons or other embellishments, however you want to do it to add to the card. It's totally up to you. Now, if you want those 6 card kits, it's a $35 order. Like I said, you can do it in my online store using the host code that's on the screen, or you can call me, email me, text me, however you want to do it, and I can take that for you. Now, if your order is $50 before shipping and tax, then you will also get a pack of Festive Pearls. And so you will get the 6 card kits, Festive Pearls, and also the tutorial to go with it. I think I forgot to mention that. With the $35 order, you get the 6 card kits and a tutorial also, so that you have the video to go back and look at, and you have the tutorial. With $50, you get all of that, plus you get the Festive Pearls. Now I have an extra bonus today because you may remember that the Trees for Sale stamp set had a die set back in July and August with Celebration. It was this set. It had the camper. You've probably seen lots of card samples made with that. It's got the camper, the little dog, the little trees, all the fun stuff. Now I have 6 sets of these, and I am going to give them to anybody who places a $75 order. And it'll only be the first 6 because I've only got 6 sets. So if you are one of the first 6 people to place a $75 order before tax and shipping, you will get the 6 card kits, the tutorial, the Festive Pearls, and the set of dies. Now, if you place a $75 order and you don't need the dies, please let me know so I can pass those on to the next person, and we'll make sure everybody gets them. Now, the cards that I'm doing today do not require the dies. So you can make these cards even if you don't have the dies. It'll just take a little bit of fussy cutting with the little dog. So, okay, with all that being said, let's get started. Okay, we're going to go to my hands here. And of course, it flipped upside down. So I am going to flip the camera real quick and get that reset up. Definitely couldn't make it easy for me, right? Let's make sure that's in there good so it doesn't fall. Okay. Here we go. This is the first card. And it is one of my favorites because I am a traditional colors Christmas girl. This one uses Real Red and Garden Green and some cute little trees. Now, one of the ways that I like to do this layout, I think it's kind of fun because it gives you that little look of the paper hanging off the sides. I cut the cardstock to 4 inches, and then it's the 11. So instead of it being 4 1/4, which is your standard size, this one is only 4 inches across, and then it's scored the same at 5 1/2. So I'm just going to fold it. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to fold it to start. I'm going to keep it flat because to stamp the background, I'm going to use Real Red ink and the Christmas greetings words. I don't know if you can see that on the card. Yeah, I guess you can. I just use the words to create the background. So I am going to take Christmas greetings and I am just going to stamp over and over again down the front. And I'm just going to do it kind of off a little bit and then go off here and just keep going all the way down the front. Now, I will tell you, I am not a perfectionist, so if it's a little crooked, a little off, it doesn't bother me. If it does bother you, then you could use the grid paper or you could use the Stamparatus to make sure you're going straight. I am just gonna eyeball it and hope for the best. Okay, so I've got my Christmas greetings, and you can see that one even messed up a little bit, but that's not gonna matter because it is gonna be covered. Okay, now all I needed for this card, in addition to that, is the Sweetest Christmas paper, which I just love because it's got the real red garden green, and then it also has Pool Party in it. So it is really, really pretty. Let me get my seal here. There we go. And I'm just gonna get it started. Add some seal on the back. And I'm just gonna make sure that it hangs over the sides, a little bit on each side. And so there we go. And then I punched out the little piece, and the name of the punch is totally leaving my mind right now. I will make sure that I post the name of it on when I post all the information, but it has slipped my mind. But I'm going to stamp the medium tree and the small tree on it. I'm going to use the mat behind it because I'm going to stamp off. And whenever I stamp off with the photopolymer, you want to make sure you've got a little bit of give back there. So these are going to be both layers in garden green. And so I am going to take the medium tree first, and I am going to stamp off. And then I am going to stamp that one right in the center. And it gives you that light green. And then I'm going to take the little one and do the same thing. Stamp off. Stamp in. Stamp off. And stamp it. So that gives me my little trees. Now I'm going to use the filler, and I'm going to do that full strength. So I'm just going to go right into the middle tree. Get him. And then take the little one. There's such a glare from my phone that I can't even tell where I'm going with it. There we go. Okay, so that gives us the 3 little trees on that piece. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ribbon, and this is from the Sweetest Christmas Suite. It's really pretty, and it's really easy to tie if you do bows. I'm just going to use a little tiny piece of it behind my my trees, but I'm just going to stick some seal right on there. And then I'm going to take him, and I'm just going to just kind of loop it around, make it look the way I want it to, and just make sure those pieces get stuck in the back. And then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to trim those pieces so that it looks like that. And the good thing about putting a seal on the back, you can kind of adjust the ribbon. If you're not happy with as much space between it, you know, you can always just adjust it and make it the way that you want it to be. And then I'm going to take some dimensionals. Pop those on the back. And you can kind of use the dimensionals to make sure that your ribbon is stuck on there good. I'm just going to over, and I am just going to stick this right on there, and you can let that little bit of ribbon hang off the side, or you can, you know, okay, so now I'm looking at it and I'm like, I can just put it like this. I'm going to trim that up just a little bit so it doesn't go all the way across. Okay. Now the finishing touch for these are the Festive Pearls. Let's see where, okay. And I think with red and green, I think gold is such a pretty look with it. So I'm just gonna stick 3 little gold dots on the top of my trees. This works really well with the take your pick tool if I knew where it was this morning, but it has escaped me. But there you go. Very simple card. Very easy to do. And probably for the envelope, I would just take the little tree and do one down in the bottom left corner as a fun little surprise for the envelope. So that is the first card. Move that out of the way. And I am going to keep the garden green open, but I'm going to close the royal red. See the card. I love how this card turned out. The picture this dies are one of my favorite things. It is this set, and what it does is it just puts all those holes right through your paper. So you don't have to position the circles or anything like that. You just stick this down on the cardstock, run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss, and you've got 6 perfectly spaced little circles. Now you can also do it with the little rectangles. You stick it down the same way, run it through, and you've got those perfectly spaced rectangles. And then not only do you have the holes, but then you have the circles or the rectangles, and you can do something fun with those too because they're stitched and they're really cute. I probably have a basket of tons of the ones that I've punched out because I'm determined to find a use for them one day. Okay, so to make this card, I used Sahara Sand cardstock, and I went ahead and ran it through so that you didn't have to watch me do that. But that's what it looks like once it comes out. Now, the way that I do it so that you don't end up with any funny creases on the card is I'll stick that down and only run it through the emboss machine until it hits that the crease, and then run it back out. So I'm not going all the way through and creating another crease. So once you run it through, you get it as far as you want it to go and then come right back out. Okay, so the first part for this card, I'm going to go ahead and fold it. And I am going to create the front. Got all the little pieces here. I'm going to take Christmas Greetings. Get the red off of that. Okay, we're going to stamp that in garden green. And I've got, I believe this is 3/4 inch by just 5.5. I just did a strip of it. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to make it the right size. But I'm just going to stamp it right in the middle. Give myself that. And then I also have another strip of the Sweetest Christmas DSP. I tell you, I've used so much of this paper this year. It is a fun, it's got so many fun prints, especially, you know, like I said, the pool party in there just makes it so cute. Now what I'm going to do with this is, if you look at the card, nothing is really straight on here. So I kind of like that look. Sometimes when I go for straight, it just ends up looking too put together like that. And so I kind of like the off. So I'm just going to add a little bit of seal over here because I don't want anything to seal it shut. So I don't want that to stick through my card. So I'm going to do it right about there, and I'm going to go kind of at an angle. And then I'm going to take my Christmas Greetings and I'm going to go, now I can put this behind it because I'm going to stick it to the green. So it's going to go about right like that. The little bit of green coming down. So you can see, I keep thinking I need to turn it to show it to you, but it's going the right way. So I've got that set up just like that. Now I'm going to grab the scissors, and I know you see ribbon on them, but I didn't grab my snips, so I'm just going to cut this real quick. That, and then I'm going to take the green and I'm going to do the same angle, and that's going to give me that on this side. And then I'm just going to take it and flip it over, and I'm going to cut right alongside there. Now, if you wanted the perfect straight line, you could do it on your trimmer. I think that works just fine. So I've got that set up. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of linen thread, which is one of my favorite things to use. And I have found lately that I find myself tying double bows all the time because it makes it just more substantial. Maybe it gives it a little bit more structure to it. I've found lately that when I tie a single bow, I have a harder time getting the loops to look good together. But when you tie it together, it just really gives it, like you can see, it's so much easier. And then you just pull it. I'm just going to trim that. String flying everywhere, and I'm going to stick it right on here with a glue dot. Let's see. Put that on just like that. Okay, that gives me my front with the exception of that little dog. And so I'm going to stamp the little dog in espresso. He's so cute. I almost think he makes the stamp set and the camper makes the dice set. The two of them together are just adorable. So let's take this little dog. Black. I'll stamp the little guy in espresso. And there we go. Now at this point, if you have the dies, you could cut him out. If you don't have the dies, you can just fussy cut him. No big deal either way. Now I've already got him cut out so that you don't have to worry about watching that. So I've got him right here, and I'm just going to put him on with a dimensional. So I'm just going to pop a little dimensional on the back of him. I will say he probably would be much better with the mini dimensionals, but we're just going to make this work for now. Just cut off that little piece that you could see. I'm just going to stick him. I'll stick him right like that. There we go. Okay. So he is all ready to go. Now for the inside of the card, my initial thought was to stamp this piece. But then I realized if you stamp this piece, you can't write a message. So what I did was turn this into its own card. So it opens up. So it's almost like you're stamping another card to put inside the card. So we're going to take the piece of white cardstock. And now I didn't cut this at regular card size because that would be 5.5 by 8.5. I wanted my card to be 4 by 5.25 so that it would go inside of the card. So that leaves me an 8-inch by 5.25 cut. Okay, we're going to use the big tree for this one also. So we've got all 3 trees. Get him. And let's take the little doggy off. Stick him back in the set. Okay, I'm going to put it underneath the pad so that I can get my trees on here. So I'm going to start with the big tree. And remember, we are stamping off the background. You know what? I better close the early espresso so I don't end up with a brown tree. Okay, let's go for all green. Okay, so I'm going to stamp off, and then, okay, and I'm only going to do one big one. So let's go ahead and do the inside of the big one. Okay, so that gives us the big tree. And then I'm going to do several of the medium-sized trees, just enough to make it look like the little dog is running through the forest. One there. Come down, do one down there. And then let's do a little tiny one up at the top. Okay, and now I'm just going to take the fillers, the lines, and just add those in. And if it's a little off, it doesn't matter. That's what I like about this stamp set. It's very forgiving. Then we'll take the little one here at the top. Okay, now I think what makes this card are the little footprints all through the background. Because we've got that little dog on the front, so let's add some footprints. And we're going to do that with Sahara Sand. And we're just going to take it, start down here, just kind of run them through the trees. Make it come off a little bit. There we go. So it looks like he's running up through there, and I want to make sure that I don't have any ink on my fingers. So I'm going to fold that in half. So that's going to be what you see through the little peekaboo on the front, and then we'll do So Very Merry on the inside. Let's see. We're going to do that also in Garden Green. So the only colors that I used for this card were Sahara Sand and Garden Green. Just gonna go, like I said, I eyeball it and it's good enough. Okay, so there's the inside of the card. So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my seal and put that on the back. And attach it right inside, and you're going to do it just like you would just any other layer. You want that little bit of edge around the outside, but make sure when you press it down you don't have ink on your fingers, or you will some little additions to your card. So it starts like that, flips up, and then goes inside. I have to say this one might be my favorite. Okay, so that is the second card. Now the third one, actually before I pull the third one out, let me close Sahara Sand because we need black memento for this one, Garden Green, and Pool Party. Okay, this card uses a lot of the Festive Pearls, and I think that it totally makes the card, and you'll see exactly what I mean as I go from the card without the pearls to the card with the pearls. So the card base is Pool Party. This side of the way here. And it's just cut the normal way. It is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4, and folded. And then I like things a little, I say it's crooked. Crooked sounds negative. I guess it's just offset. But I don't tend to go straight usually. I just like to have that little look. It just gives it a little bit more, I guess it's more fun to me. Okay, so I'm just going to put this layer of garden green, which is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And I'm just going to stick that so that it's touching the top and touching the bottom. And that gives it that little bit just off. And then I'm going to take another piece of Sweetest Christmas. And I'm just going to stick that right across the middle. And I went the opposite direction with this piece so that it looks like little stitches going across on the card with the dog. You can see I did the little ovals up and down. I think it works either way. Okay, so now we're ready for the focal piece. So I'm going to put this aside, and I need to make sure that these are, let's make sure there's no green on this. This one's going to use the big tree. And we're actually going to do the background this time in Pool Party. So I'm not going to stamp off. I'm just going to go full strength right into the corner using Pool Party. And then I'm going to do the inside of the tree in garden green. There we go. And then for the words, I'm going to use You Light Up the Season instead of So Very Merry. I'll take that one off. And we're going to do this one in Black Memento. I love having words in photopolymer. It just makes it so much easier to stamp them straight. And we're just going to come right down beside the tree. Just like that. I will say, if you're doing this, you want to make sure you don't come over too far with the tree because you don't want to leave, you want to make sure you leave enough space for your words. So I probably should have done this over a little bit more to the right, but it works. Now the next thing I'm going to do is the lights. Just going to stick that right on. And they're going to be in Black Memento also. And I'm going to start over here with it. Just going to go across. And then with this one, I'm just going to make sure these lines cross like that. And then for the other, let's see, I may have messed myself up here. Let's do this. We'll come back here. Go. Hopefully it's long enough to go all the way across. I think it is. Yeah. There we go. So you just want to make sure you give yourself enough space so that they can be connected. If you don't have enough space for them to be connected, then you could always use a basic black Stampin' Right marker and fix that. Now, I think what made this is the Festive Pearls. And so I am just going to take some of each color, and I'm going to start with red, and I'm just going to add them right over the lights. Of course, when your hands are shaking, it makes it a little bit harder to use them. There we go. And what I will do with this instead of doing a straight line of dots, I'll do a whole bunch red and then go in and put the next color, and then go in and put the next color, and then go in and put the next color, so that you can kind of fill in and don't leave yourself so that you have to have certain colors beside each other. Now, I'm not going to make you watch me do all of those lights, but then I'm going to do the same thing with the Christmas tree. I'm just going to add 2 of each color and decorate it just like I would the lights up at the top. And then this piece will be added right onto the card using dimensionals, and that makes the card. So I hope that you've liked the cards today. Let me go back to... I hope that you've liked the cards. I love the stamp set, and I've looked forward to doing something and sharing it with you. Like I said, if you want the kits to go with these cards, a $35 order will get the card kits and the tutorial. A $50 order gets the card kits, the tutorial, and the Festive Pearls. And then the first 6 people that place a $75 order will get the card kits, the tutorial, the Festive Pearls, and the tree lot dies. So if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. You can email me. It's in the YouTube description below. You can reach out and ask any questions, and I'm happy to answer them. I hope you have a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye.